You're listening to Truth to Power Live with Dumisani Washington. Truth to Power Live with Dumisani Washington. I'm your host, Dumisani Washington, here with you on this Sunday, November the 3rd, 2024. Now, I'm guessing that all systems are go. I apologize for starting a little bit late on today, ladies and gentlemen. Everything was set up for a while there. We were clicking stuff, and then all of a sudden everything went down. That's technology. It's a wonderful thing till it doesn't work. So I guess I'm all clear. So if somebody could sound me and all clear, make sure that you could hear me. I'm assuming that you could hear me. As a matter of fact, I'm checking a couple of things up here as well. Again, welcome. It's there's a certain amount of paranoia that starts to set in. We're literally picking up where we left off. We had episode 19, which is only a few days ago, because we weren't able to broadcast or stream live with you last week as we were in California, and we thought we had everything set up at the hotel. Didn't really work out that way, so we wound up doing it later on. I refer to episode 19 because you're going to want to check it out, because we're literally picking up where we left off. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody that we are here live. I'm making sure that you could hear me. If you can't hear me, please give me a shout out. Send me a note or something like that. Making sure that I can, making sure that I'm good before I keep moving, because we have so much to do today. That hold on, let me check this. Can I do this old school? There we go. Yeah. All right. I had to just check to make sure my audio is good. All right. So again, welcome everyone. Truth to Power Live, Dumisani Washington, where we talk about the Bible, politics, music, geopolitics, Israel, Africa, family, education, everything in between. Let me see. Going live. Click to go live. I think I'm good. Click to join live. I think I'm good. All right. I think we're good everywhere. All right. So literally picking up where we left off. Episode 19 dealt with some election stuff, but we were dealing with specifically Trump's endorsement by the Muslim leadership of Dearborn, Michigan. I referenced that because on today we pick up from where we left off, because these things are elected. White supremacist leader Richard Spencer endorses Kamala Harris. I'm going to come to that in a second, because we're going to actually step into that. There's a reason. As I said before in a little pre-roll thing, Richard Harris is a clown. He is a neo-Nazi white supremacist clown. Doesn't even have, if you want to call it clout, that David Duke had back in the day. There was no social media, and he's doing all of his stuff, all of his, shtick in terms of all the neo-Nazi stuff like that. Richard Spencer's a clown. We on this show are not taking him seriously in that sense. The message that he had, that's what I want to hone in on, that because there's a message that we have here 48 hours away from Election Day 2024. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to lead up into it. So again, you can go to ttplive.com. You get more information about the show. You can also find out all the other episodes. Click on all episodes, and you'll see that on there as well. You can get those as well. Well, before I get any further, happy 24th birthday to our youngest child, Miss Yasha Eliza. She turned 24 on today. She's born in 2000, so it's always easy to know how old she is. But she turned 24 on today. Our last of our 6 olive branches God has blessed us with. So shout out to you, Miss Yasha. We're going to have some cake a little bit later on today, me and Yasha and one of her sisters. We have a big family, but people are in different places on today. It's funny, over the last several years, especially if I'm doing Israel work, I'm almost always gone on November the 3rd. I mean, she remembers it very well. A little girl coming up, and daddy, and sometimes mommy both would be traveling. This time daddy's home, but mommy's actually out of town. She'll be home in a few days. So yeah, shout out to you, Miss Yasha. We love you, baby. We'll sit down and have some cake and kick it and maybe watch something on TV. Oh, I'm sorry. I clicked on something I didn't want to click on. All right. Okay. So now let's do this. I mentioned the Trump part of it because one of the things we said was that Trump's endorsement by the Muslim community leaders in Dearborn, Michigan, was a mixed bag. So again, I refer you to episode 19. You'll have to go and check that out because we went over that whole thing, the Islamist presence care which is the Council of American Islamic Relations. It is the civil rights branch of Hamas. So it's a whole Islamist agenda. It's a Muslim Brotherhood agenda. And so we were saying that some of those leaders who are endorsing Trump are connected to that same Hamas civil rights organization in quotation marks. But again, we were saying that it's more than that because Trump got 17% of the Muslim vote in 2016 when he won that election. 2020, he got 35, more than double that, right? So we're saying that there's a Muslim vote that has been going to Trump almost inexplicably unless you understand the issues. Let me say this real quickly. I might go back into it. I made this tweet earlier today. I'm outside. I'm minding my own business. I've been raking the leaves, did in the backyard. I'm in the front yard. I'm finishing up and I'm putting the mulch stuff around the tree and everything. And here comes a guy across the street. He's all smiling and everything. Clearly he's selling something or whatever. Like, hey, are you, just checking to see, do you know where you're supposed to vote? Yeah, the elementary school down the street. We've been there for a few years, but yeah, I know where to go. He goes, oh, okay, yeah. And are you do me son? Yeah, do me son. Yeah, do me son. Well, yeah. So he has my name and everything. And so he starts talking. He's a Kamala Harris supporter, which again, people are canvassing. This is election season. I get it. I'm not tripping on anybody coming to the door. I'm busy, right? But he starts talking in short version of a 30-minute story. Dude starts not coming at me. No. It was always respectful. There was nothing. I'm loud and demonstrative. That's just me. That's my personality. I'm a Washington. My mom was like that. My dad was quieter, but he's very, very. He had he very opinionated as well. So I'm the youngest of 7 children. I'm loud. My kids are loud. They get it from me. So I'm just loud. Right? It's just loud. I'm a loud person. So anyway, it was never like a rage thing going on. Nothing like that. But the arrogance and the lack of, dear Democratic Party leaders, your leaders, I'm not talking about all the Democrats, okay, I'm talking about the leaders. You're the most arrogant, tone-deaf, narcissistic, despotic, I'm being nice. You all don't listen. He's bringing up, trying to tell me why Kamala Harris, and now he's trying to tell me about the local races and everything from the governor to the school board, not school board, but actually they don't call it the education department like we said in California. It's called something else, and this lady is bad. And I said I'll do my due diligence. We're talking about different things. The reason I'm bringing that up is because he brings up the Muslim community in Dearborn voting for Obama, and he said some disparaging things, kind of inferred that it was like an Islamist thing. I was like, do you know? He goes, there's lots of different reasons why it's happening. I'm like, okay, now he's a white male. I only say that because he's talking about everybody else being racist. So he's saying racist stuff about the Muslims. He's saying racist stuff. He's inferring racist stuff about other ethnic groups that are voting for Trump. So going, you guys don't listen. So I said to him, do you know why the Muslim community there in Dearborn said their vote? There's lots of different reasons. He said, yeah. And I said, okay, so do you know that education is one of the main ones? He just kind of looked at me. He said, dude, you don't know. Here you are trying to educate me. And I'm trying to tell you, I do this. This is much of what I do. Israel, Africa, Black, Jewish, and I'm in the Muslim community. I'm talking to different leaders. I'm watching. So I'm actually doing this. I'm not saying how smart I am. I'm saying I am informed on some of these things. And you're canvassing for Kamala Harris, and you have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm telling about the whole education thing. They cited, the Muslims themselves cited the leftist takeover of the education. They said it, whether you believe it or not. And he's as tone deaf as Barack Obama. Barack Obama gets up on the stage. If you're a Muslim, and why would you vote for a guy who implemented Muslim bans? So going, dude, could you listen? So the narcissism, the self-love, and then the loathing of anybody else. Leftism is a disease. I'm not saying the far right's better. I'm just talking about the people who are already in power, who are mucking everything up, and then they don't want to understand. Black men are voting for Trump like never before, the Republican Party. Latino, Asian, Muslim. There's a larger portion of Jewish people. Again, Jewish Americans are still voting just like Black Americans. Majority of them are voting for Democrat, but a larger percentage of them are voting for the Republican candidate than historically has happened. And it's like nobody in the DNC asks why. I said this, you got to listen to the episode 19 if you want to get that in context. I didn't say all this, but I did talk about the whole Muslim part of it, Barack Obama and election. So I'm saying all that for a reason, because we're coming up to this whole Richard Spencer thing. There's a reason why we're going to do it this way, because it's making a point that the Bible says pride goeth before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. And DNC, your leader, you all are so full of yourselves. I don't know I'm not a prognosticator. I'm not getting ready to try to prophesy. I have no idea what's going to happen on November the 7th, November what's that, 2 days ago? 2 days from now, right? 2 days from now, November the 5th. Sorry, it's November the 5th on election day. What I pray that God would cause our nation to be at peace. My concern is that the violence and the bloodshed and everything, we're just in a very, very bad time. And the judgment of God is on our nation for lots of different reasons. I'll get into that part on another episode, some more. But I'm hoping that the Democrats go down in flames. I hope that it is a landslide down ballot, if for no other reason to make you Democrat leaders, you don't listen. You don't listen. And the problem with pride and arrogance is that you don't feel like you have to listen. Muslims are voting for Trump. They're just whatever. Black men voting for Trump. Just whatever. So everybody's just full of it but you, right? Nobody has a reason as to why they are dissatisfied with what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and the third term of Barack Obama has brought to the American people and to the world. You have nothing to say about that, right? Just Trump bad. Trump bad. Even the dude who's talking to me, the bottom line of what he's talking about is Trump. Oh, but Trump is a foo-foo head. I'm sitting there going, dude, I'm talking about economy. I'm talking about education. These parents, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, they're concerned about their children's primary education. You guys are transitioning kids behind their parents' back, and somehow you see that everybody else is the bigot. Anyway, I'm sorry, right off the bat. Told you right off the bat. Anyway, so what is his name? He's a Muslim fight promoter, Ali Abdelaziz. Abdelaziz. I want to share this here. Again, this is an example, right? Can I share it this way? Boom, to the stage, blam. All right, so headline on the article is Ali Abdelaziz under fire for directing racial slur at Floyd Mayweather. He is a member of the Muslim community. He is an MMA fight manager. I believe he's in the Dearborn area as well. And this is a quote from the article. The article's in the MMA knockout on Sports Illustrated, if you want to pull it up. It says, little quote, prominent MMA manager Ali Abdelaziz is facing significant backlash for racially charged messages directed at Floyd Mayweather Jr. on social media. Our article goes on to say earlier this week, Mayweather met with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In response, Abdelaziz reacted by calling Mayweather a house Negro and referring to Malcolm X. Yes, he did this on his Twitter. I don't think it's up anymore, but internet is forever. Here is the tweet. And once again, the way they have this on here, I'm sorry, my bad. I'm trying to, anyway, so this is the tweet. So now, for those of you who don't know, Floyd Mayweather, the boxing champ, is very, very pro-Israel. And since October 7th, particularly, even before then, he had visited Israel, has a great love for Israel. No hate for the Palestinian people at all, but he has a great love for Israel from what I've seen. I don't know the man personally, and he's tweeted lots of different things, and he's posted them on Instagram. And so he's been helping during the war effort. Our Israeli brothers and sisters need help now more than ever before. All the Palestinians, Israel is making sure that humanitarian aid gets to Gaza, but Hamas is taking. That's part of the whole drama that's going on. Anyway, so he posts some pictures, and he Floyd Mayweather, and he takes a picture with Benjamin Netanyahu, and Ali Abdelaziz tweets, basically call him a Negro on Twitter. Just as simple. Now, why do I say that? Because just before that, maybe the day before that, do I have it on here? Boom. Abdelaziz is also a Trump supporter, right? This is his tweet. I don't know what date this is. I think it's the day before the whole Mayweather dust up. And it says, Dearborn, Michigan, tomorrow. See you guys. And he tags different fighters and different ones. And it's a flyer for an event called Arab Americans for President Trump meet and greet. He is part of the Arab American community there who is supporting President Trump. Cool. He's also a racist and an Islamist who, when he saw a black man standing with the Israeli prime minister, the first thing this dude does is grab his phone and tweets out Negro to Floyd Mayweather. Something I'm sure he would not say to Floyd Mayweather's face. It was a knee-jerk reaction. Again, I'm assuming he took it down, but the first thing that came to his mind was he saw not just an Israel supporter, but a black man. The first thing he thought in Arabic is abid, you slave, you house Negro. How dare you fly in your plane, take your money, support Israel, and stand next to, even if Ali Abdelaziz don't like Israel or whatever, like that, it's for him to come at Floyd Mayweather. So here's my message again. These are the people, some of them, who are supporting Donald Trump. That's what I'm saying. This man is an Islamist. He's mad. He's triggered by two things: that Floyd Mayweather is a Zionist or Israel supporter, whichever term you want to use, and number two, that he's black. Because he didn't say free Palestine. Ali didn't say, more humanitarian aid to Gaza. He said, Negro, who do you think you are? Right? That don't happen a few months ago when there was this big blow up, and the Free Palestine group, along with the leftist black group, they had formed this alliance. We read articles about it. Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel has written that. You can go to ibsi.substack.com. We wrote about it as well. I did a show about it as well on the Truth to Power Live. So you can find some information about it. We'll try to drop some stuff, at least in the chat later on, or once we're done and we recorded and set it out there. And what was happening was that the black left supporters of the whole Palestine thing were seeing how very racist these pro-Palestinians were. Had no problem calling them out their name, treating them like they're nothing. Again, it was how Eldridge Cleaver of the Black Panthers got red-pilled. He got red-pilled because he was a anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian, kind of Marxist and everything too. And one of the things that red-pilled him was he was in Algeria, and that's where he met Yasser Arafat. In 1969, he saw slaves. The people that the Arabs enslaved were people who looked just like him. And you know why? Because they were Africans and they looked just, that's why they call them abid, slave. And when Ali saw this black support of Israel, the first thing he said was slave. It's like he couldn't even help himself. And these are some of the people that are lining up behind Trump for lots of different reasons. But we see that this Islamist, racist, abid mentality here is very ripe. And for him to just tweet it, not say it to his little friends, just tweet it, post it on X, whatever, right? Lets you know how comfortable he is. Racists, when they get really comfortable, they'll call you out your name and talk down to you in a moment. Now, here's the thing. I've said many, many times, I'm not all the free speech. I'm not coming against his free. He has a First Amendment right to say any of the dumb stuff he wants to say all day long. I don't want Elon Musk to take his account down. None of that kind of stuff. No, keep talking, right? Lets us know who you are, whether the racists are Arab or white, or the black ones, or the Asians. Racism is not cornered the market, no matter what black folks say on the left. Racism is not prejudice plus power. Racism is just a stupid person. I don't care what your socioeconomic status is. And if you do have the ability to inflict that on somebody else, it doesn't matter what color you are. So some of Trump's Arab Muslim supporters are racist like Ali. What's my point? Did Trump do something? No. They are willing to look past Trump's Zionism and line up with Trump for whatever else their reasons are. Like some of them are education, some of them are economy. That might be some for Ali, but he's still a racist, anti-Zionist, anti-Semitic. He's coming straight at this dude without even thinking about it, right? That's what I'm saying. So the point that I was making, I'm making here again, that some of Trump's Arab Muslim support is coming from bigots like Ali. And that is what it is. It's a mixed bag. Done. We good? Are we good on that? I think we're good on that. I think we're in that there. All right. So that's the first part. Step number 2. So in this discussion about the Richard Spencer thing, I wanted to start there for a reason. There's an article that the New York Post, I believe, they wrote a piece on Richard Spencer's support. So Richard Spencer is a white supremacist, a leader in the white supremacist movement or whatever it is in the United States. And again, he's a clown, but I want to say something. Okay, here is the quote, and you can look at it in the article titled to the New York Post, prominent white supremacist Richard Spencer endorses Kamala Harris. Let me see that there. All right, okay. And I hope you guys can hear me. I think I'm good on the audio. Good, yeah. I'm quoting. It's about the third or fourth paragraph down. This is his quote at the DNC, and this is the New York Post quoting Richard Spencer at the DNC. She said that she 100% supports Israel. She'll give Israel lethal aid. She also said that the suffering is tremendous, and she also said that Palestinians deserve their own state, their own sovereignty, that they need to have a government, a legitimate organization through which they can live in peace side by side with Israel. Sounds fine, right? No, keep reading. I have criticisms of that, but nevertheless, I find that better than Trump. That meaning her whole position, pro-Israel and then pro-Palestinian self-determination. Watch this next quote. If there is a regional conflict, Richard Spencer goes on to say, between Israel and Iran, Trump seems much more likely to not only support Israel in this, but take part in it, start bombing Iranian nuclear facilities, Spencer said. Why does he mention this? Because the white supremacists, under the guise of no more war, don't want an American government that in any way stands with or supports Israel, while Israel's Islamist haters try to destroy Israel. Now, there's one slide I think I forgot to actually put on here. I want to tell you, and I think I can do it this way. Again, I had stuff on here. Everything was rocking and rolling. And then what happened, unfortunately, for me, I wasn't able to start on time, is that I couldn't get it started. Everything went down. And what I'm checking right now is to see, and if you see a bunch of slides and stuff in front of you, I apologize for that. You may not see what I'm actually clicking on, but I actually, let me see if I can get this slide, this file. Yeah, I think I do it this way. The reason I'm using this little visual aid, if I can, I don't know if I can or not. Yeah, boom. Can I do that? Yeah. Check this out. Richard Spencer is one part of a two-tiered equation. This one. The Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, who was the Muslim leader of in the region, and Adolf Hitler in their historic meeting in Berlin in 1941. And it's funny, 1941 is also the year of the pogrom, which is called the Farhud in Iraq, no doubt helped organized by the Grand Mufti, in which thousands of Jews of Iraq and Babylon were either killed or displaced. I have friends whose families actually experienced that Farhud, right? Why am I showing you this picture? Richard Spencer it's an old reality, right? And meaning that he is the Hitler side of that equation. What you see there is a red-green alliance. Red meaning the communists or the Nazis, I should say there. Nazi, left, right, that's another discussion for another day. And then the leftists, the Islamists together. Of the many things they agree on, which is also includes a hatred for America and for democratic nations, is the Jews. And then, of course, now Israel. Hitler was partnering with the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem to see the destruction of the Jews of North Africa and the Middle East, not just the Jews of Europe. Richard Spencer is looking at both parties, and what he's seeing, especially in terms of these candidates, Trump will be more sympathetic and will help and stand with Israel for real, even including helping Israel defend itself, not with boots on the ground, Mr. Tucker Carlson, right? But with our military relationship, and we have military relationships with many nations, including Egypt, including Jordan, including Nigeria, right? It's not just Israel, right? He's saying that he's not in favor of that, not because he's concerned about America in wars, that may be part of it, but because it's a war against the Jewish state. And Richard Spencer wants to make sure. What he's saying to you is that he doesn't know that a Kamala Harris administration, like a Biden or Obama administration, will go that far. Yes. He's saying that between the two, Trump is the more Israel supporting person, and Kamala Harris, let me say to you, even CNN, I didn't bring the clip with me this time, is talking about the Harris campaign talking out of both sides of its mouth. the messaging that it has to the Muslim communities in places like Michigan, and then the messages that it has to the Jewish communities in places like Pennsylvania. They're showing certain clips of her, I stand with Israel, and then they show another clips of her. She's already gone on record. Oh, what's going on in Gaza is a humanitarian crisis. She's talking about threatening a weapons embargo to Israel. See, they're not showing those things to the Jewish voters. They're showing those things to the Muslim voters. They, meaning the DNC, because they're racist, because they couldn't have different attitudes even based on their ethnic identity, right? You just message based on blocks. Just like the dude who was coming to talk to me, give me all his talking points, and I was swatting him back over like Venus Williams because he had no substance. He's just talking blah, blah, blah. So I'm telling him I'm an educator, I'm a pastor, I work in the community, I'm from California, but I'm trying to give you context, dude. I know more about this than what you're acting like. And so when he realized that I knew more, he even said, well, you're really well informed on this, but you're just wrong, right? So that's what I'm saying, the arrogance of. So Richard Spencer is saying, a Trump administration will stand with Israel for real. He said the Harris administration, I'm paraphrasing, there's more daylight that's there. And plus he said these other things that would include, and it's funny because he didn't quote some of the stuff she said, but I'm sure the dude's probably aware of all this stuff. This is unacceptable. What does that mean? The idea they're committing, people have accused Israel of committing genocide in Gaza, and the vice president on more than one occasion has been like, yep. It's horrible, right? So the white supremacist who also hates Israel, he's seeing that he more lines up with the Democrat Party. That's not fair, Pastor Mizani. That is what it is. Again, he was a clown. I'm not venerating him. I'm just saying he's quoting, or at the very least, he is correctly assessing the positions of both candidates. And to him, the one that's more anti-Israel for him is Kamala Harris and the Democrats. How dare you, President? Okay, like I said, and the Democrats don't listen, right? They don't listen. They don't listen. Kamala Harris just had an event in D.C. area the other day, and all the Palestinian flags and everything. Not all these Palestinian flags, all this intifada, none of that at the Trump rallies. None of it. Only at the Democratic ones. Outside of the DNC convention a couple of months ago, they were burning the American flag. What did Biden didn't say about it? Nothing. At some point, Biden, those people, they have a point. Which point? Which point do they have a part of? The free Palestine point? The burning the American flag point? See, if you are the Islamist and you are the white supremacist and you're trying to decide, one of the things that's making you lean towards the Democrats is because they seem to be more sensitive to your position. Yep. And again, and for those who are watching this, if you're watching this as a clip, share it with your Democrat friends. All this 48 hours before the vote. All the receipts. And there'll be links on there too. Click on them and check it out. Look what's being said. Ask yourself questions. Now let's keep going. Right? So that's the Richard Spencer part. He then says, I'm all in favor. We're going to come back to that before we end because I want to show you, because we're not done with the evidence part, right? The other part that we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen, is the capture of our education system, okay, both in K through 12 and on our college campuses. The overwhelming amount of control comes from the left. It is the left that is pushing trans ideology. It is the left that is pushing DEI. It is the left that is telling that white people are evil and the Western civilization is bad. It is the left that is saying that Zionism is racism. It is the left that is teaching now K through 12 that Israel's a settler, colonial, white, occupying state. It's the left. It's the left. This is not the right. I'm not saying there's not anti-Semitism or Israel hatred on the right. It's there. It's just smaller in its size. On the left, it has captured it. Whether you recognize it or not, whether you admit it or not, it's what's true. So let's keep going. So our good friend, Dr. Brandy Shufutinsky, did a video, and it's actually connected to a larger article. And I'm going to show you that now, right now. And it's about education, particularly in California or beyond. Oh, so now I'm clicking on something so you'll know. Oh, boy. I'm having technical issues, everyone. I don't know why. I really do apologize. I can now see that the screen is frozen. I don't know how long it's been frozen. And yes, we're having issues. Wow. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know if the audio is still going. If it is,
racism. We saw the anti-white or colonialist idea that was pushed in the schools. Now you have the anti-Israel. Jews are the white settler colonial.
Okay.
I spent 2 years undercover attending meetings for liberated ethnic studies, researching how California was going to implement it.
And I don't even know at this point if you can hear me. Wow. So I don't know if you can. So I'm seeing the stream. My apologies, because I know it was breaking up. I don't know exactly what's happening. As a matter of fact, this is why the show started a little late, because for whatever reason on the software, everything kind of went haywire. So I don't know if you can hear me. I'm hoping that you can. Let's see here. Okay, yes, can hear you. Thank you, ma'am. I think Miss Zelda on there. All right. So I'm going to try to play this video again. Don't know exactly what's happening. If not, I'll try to walk you through it. Let's see if it works here. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to keep talking. Wow. Okay. I don't know what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why it's not doing anything. It's freezing. Like I'm watching my video right now.
Anti-Israel.
And I'm trying to play the other
I
video.
spent 2 years undercover attending online meetings for liberated ethnic studies, researching how California was going to implement its ethnic studies requirement. What I found there disturbed me. There was a well-funded, well-coordinated effort to instill anti-Israel biases into high school curriculum in California.
Okay, just but like right now, it's not. And I have no idea why. Boy.
I spent 2 years undercover.
Let's see here. Okay, so you all can hear me. Let me do this way. I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening or why. I don't know. There's something happening so other than warfare. I'm a person who believes that there's spiritual warfare, because everything has been fine. It's been working fine. We did it just the other day, and now all of a sudden there's certain things that aren't working. It might be software related, whatever it is. Let me do it this way. I have to do it in lecture mode instead. No problem. The video I was trying to play, Dr. Brandy Shupatinsky, who is an education, this video was working. Yeah, video was working. Is that Rukia? But the audio wasn't working. And I'm not sure if you all could hear at all. I couldn't hear anything. And there's subtitles, but that lets me know that a couple of other videos I was going to play, they won't play either. And also when I click on it, everything freezes up, and then I'm not sure what that is. So I'm not going to be able to play the video, at least not be able to have the audio along with the video. But what they're talking about is the systemic anti-Zionist, anti-Semitic curriculum that is throughout the public school system. Started mainly in California, but it's all over. The reason I'm talking about the Democrats is because it is the left. The teachers union votes 90% left. The faculty, the administration, the curriculum, all these things, they are controlled pretty much by the Democratic Party, as is the Department of Education. So the anti-Zionist, not to mention the fact that just the other day, Senate Leader Chuck Schumer and other lawmakers, there was an article in the Washington Free Beacon that actually explains how those senators, those lawmakers have been colluding with places like Columbia University, knowing full well of the rampant Jew hatred and Israel hatred on the campus, including violence towards Jewish and pro-Israel students. They have been telling them, don't worry about it, telling Columbia University, it's all good. It's only the Republicans who care about that. Here are the Democrats pissing and moaning about people making Israel a partisan issue, and you have Democratic leaders telling one of the most rabid anti-Israel campuses in the nation to go ahead and abuse the Jewish students, go ahead and do all this free Palestine and intifadas, and don't worry about it. It's only the Republicans who care about stuff like that. This is, if I can, let me do this. I don't know that I can do it because I know the other stuff has been going on, but let me see here. Can everybody see? If you can see that, that's just a copy of the article. The Washington Free Beacon has an article. The title of the article is Best Strategies to Keep Your Heads Down. Schumer advised Colombia's leaders to ignore basically the anti-Semitism backlash. See, now these are emails. This is all factual information. And this is just Colombia. Right? You have Democratic lawmakers telling anti-Semitic college campuses it's all good, don't worry about it. And anybody who's complaining, they're just no good Republicans. Right? It can't be the parents who are concerned. It can't be the students. I told you before, our dear friend, Mr. Charles Jacobs, Dr. Charles Jacobs did a documentary 20 years ago called Columbia Unbecoming, in which he warned the world, including the pro-Israel community, about what was going on in Colombia. They sent him packing. They didn't want to hear about it. And we see now, 20 years later, how long have they been colluding with our lawmakers? We already know billions of dollars are coming from places like Qatar, Saudi Arabia. They've been funding China, right? Funding all this anti-American, anti-Israel, anti-Semitic propaganda. So why are the Democrat lawmakers cool with it? Again, go back to the Richard Spencer. If you're a Richard Spencer and a white supremacist and you want to decide between the two candidates, one of these parties keeps facilitating Islamism. One of these parties keeps leaning towards this whole Muslim supremacy type of Islamist ideology. One of these parties is continually bashing Israel and propping up the Islamic Republic of Iran. So if you're Richard Spencer, that's a no-brainer. As a matter of fact, we believe Richard Spencer endorsed Trump back in 2016 because he, like the other dummies, thought that Trump was a white supremacist. When they saw that he wasn't, they got disappointed. And now Richard Spencer is putting his chips on Kamala Harris. Yep. And I wanted to show you that video if I can. And AmChar Initiative, my dear friend Tammy Benjamin, who's over this, I think I can do this as an image. Let's do that. You can go to amcharinitiative.org. It is an organization that reports on, again, this type of disinformation, particularly on our education systems. And I'm going to read for you a quote from it. It's a report that you can find on amcharinitiative.org. We've shared different ones, the work of different individuals, different organizations that are giving you the receipts to what's going on. So this one's talking about what's called FJP, the Faculty for Justice in Palestine. Yet, like Students for Justice in Palestine, I didn't even realize that there's something called Faculty for Justice in Palestine. And it says chapters were established in response to a call from the U.S. subsidiary of the Palestinian Campaign for the Academic and Cultural Boycott of Israel, the PACBI. These people love their acronyms, which describes itself as a founding member of the Palestinian BDS, Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions National Committee, the BNC, tasked with the again, I gotta find a better way to do this. Let's see here. Tasked with the overseeing the academic and cultural boycott aspects of BDS, right? And there's not the only thing. There's one more click to it, I think. Yep, and it's frozen. Okay, so again, audio may be working. I am going to end it here pretty soon. The moment you all, my apologies. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why it's happening, but we are going to try to find out what is going on. My apologies to everyone. I know if it's frustrating for you, know that it's 10 times frustrating for me. Don't really know why it's doing what it's doing. And if the audio is working, you can still hear me. Boy. Yeah. Okay. Again, my apologies, everyone. I don't know what's going on. This is the first time this happened this way. And everything seems to be crashing. I'm not really sure why it's crashing. Boy. Yep. Some of my staff are saying, well, you should just record it and then post it. I said, but I want to go live, but I might have to acquiesce. I may have to do just that because it is not, even right now, I'm trying to get back to the other screen. If the audio is going, that's why I'm still talking. Just so you'll know that I'm here and your screen is frozen. It's frozen on mine as well. Yep. So if you saw that AMCHA initiative article I was sharing with you, they're talking about now, and I'm going to say this, Faculty for Justice in Palestine, go to AMCHA, AMCHA initiative.org. And I was telling some staff members, of course, Faculty for Justice in Palestine, because business is going so well, these anti-Israel student groups on campuses have ties to terrorist organizations like the PFLP, the Popular Liberation Front for the Palestinian for Palestine, is listed on the U.S. State Department's list of terrorist organizations. So why are representatives of terrorist organizations on our campuses? And because of money and because of bad people in leadership. And business is going so well that they are now organizing faculty. So Students for Justice in Palestine, Faculty for Justice in Palestine. And why do I call it politics? Well, who controls education? The Democrats. If it was some far-right group trying to organize on the campuses, folks on the left would be yelling and screaming. And anybody with a brain would be like, oh, hey, you can't do that. The First Amendment right to stand up there and talk about kill the Jews or kill the Zionists or whatever. But they're leftists. So they're just kiss and hug and yep, and no one has anything to say about it. And again, the fact that Chuck Schumer and all other lawmakers have been found out by telling people like Columbia University to go ahead and keep abusing students, and that's not a huge story. That should be a huge story, not in and of itself, but especially for the election, because we should go further. Who else knew? Did Biden and Kamala Harris know? Did Obama know? No doubt. But see, it just gets swept under the rug. Even the pro-Israel community, by and large, isn't even talking about it. It's one of the most important things to be discussed right now. And meh. Yep. And who's doing that? The Democrats. Captured by the left. So many of our institutions captured by the left and woke ideology that they're afraid to even speak on it. Yep. If I was a white supremacist, hating Israel, hating Jews, and I saw that stuff going on the left, I may not like a lot of other stuff going on, but you know what? I sure do like that Jew hatred and Israel hatred. So, yep, they would say, sign me up. That's exactly what's going on. Oh, yes, Lynn. Yep, man. And I'm only pausing, ladies and gentlemen, because every time I try to share a graphic or something, it freezes and it stops and it almost crashes. And that's been very frustrating. We're going to have to find out what's going on. Because like I said, I have some more information for you. I want to show you this other little video. Let me see if I can do this here. And again, yeah, if I can, let's see that. And I'm making this case, and I'm showing you why a Richard Spencer would be cool with the party. I'm going to try to share one more screen, right? Let's see if it works, all right? Oh, God, here we go. Alex Soros, son of George Soros, who funds lots of this anti-Israel, anti-America stuff, gives a happy birthday shout out to Kamala Harris because the Soroses are one of the biggest donors to the Democrat Party. And look at the little article from our friends at JNS. It's not the only one, but I've used our JNS one. Soros funneled $15 million to groups behind pro-Hamas protests. Don't tell me it's not on the left. So not only are the Soroses and others funding this stuff, Bill Gates is connected to it. There's an article, Politico did an article a couple of months ago about how these pro-Hamas protests are actually funded by Biden and Harris's top donors. Why is it not a bigger story? Because they're Democrats. If it had said Trump supporters are funding the Hamas, even the pro-Israel organizations who ain't got nothing to say right now, they'd be saying all kinds of stuff, right? Oh, because of the right. I mean, goodness gracious, we're in a very, very dangerous moment here. So one of Kamala Harris's and Joe Biden and Barack Obama's, the rest of the party, one of the DNC's biggest donors, like the Soroses, we have all the receipts. Their organizations are funneling millions of dollars to the protests that are happening in places like Columbia and Harvard and Yale and UCLA and University of Michigan. Wow. So the Jew hatred is coming from the left. The education stuff in the K through 12 is coming from the left. The Students for Justice in Palestine, all that stuff is coming from the left side, going, wow, if you remove the Democrat-fueled Jew hatred that we're all dealing with, there would be almost none left. All we have to do is keep talking about what's going on the right at that point. The Tucker Carlson, the Candace Owens, but it's an institution funneled by billions of dollars, both in the country and outside, by Qatar and China, all on the left. Yes. So a Richard Spencer would say, which of these parties, which of these candidates will give me the biggest reach towards what I want? Is off with these Jews, the Democrats. Look at how Jews are being demonized in our public schools. In Israel, look at what's going on in the colleges. Look at what's going on in the TikToks. Look at what's going on. Our own lawmakers are colluding with these Jew haters and Israel haters on these college campuses. It's a no-brainer. I'm going to have to wrap it up here, but I'll take you back to when the canvasser came to my house earlier today. In the 20 to 30-minute conversation, we did center on a couple of things, and one of those was education, the unfair distribution of the tax revenues, which is what the actual Jim Crow era thing was. I said before, I wrote about it in my book that my mother was from Little Rock, Arkansas, my mother and father, segregated South. And much of the organic movement in the Black community wasn't for integration. It was for the equitable distribution of the property taxes so that the white schools wouldn't continue to get the lion's share of what was supposed to be revenues that went to the schools. Because my mother and the other Black community loved Scipio A. Jones High School in North Little Rock, Arkansas. And that school would often outperform some of the white schools. I'm explaining this to the white male Harris supporter. Again, I'm talking about him being white, not going to be racist. I'm talking about white because he keeps on talking about everybody being racist. Everybody's racist but him. Everybody's got an agenda but the Democrats. Everybody doesn't see it clearly but the leftists. That's the narcissism, right? The arrogance, the pride. So I'm explaining to him about education. And then he goes, yeah, this person, they're for homeschooling. This is where I'm sitting there going, I didn't call him a name. I stayed cool, right? But I did tell him, my wife and I homeschooled all 6 of our children who are all grown and very, very capable. So you don't know that homeschool, public schools, charter schools. I'm an educator. I told him a couple times I'm an educator. I told him one point, he's like, oh, you're very informed, but he's still like a robot trying to get me to vote for Kamala Harris and vote for these other people that I'm sitting there going, I'm not voting for them because I know their record, I know the issues, and no thank you. It's as if he could not accept that I was informed. At some point he said something about how he had a condition on his foot and it was difficult for him to stand there. I said, dude, you keep talking to me. You got out of your car and came to me. And the conversation was going longer because he would say something, then I would respond. He would say something else, then I would rebut that. And he would try to rebut it and everything. And it wasn't a yelling and screaming. I'm just going to hit the microphone. But for him, the conversation went longer because he saw that A, I was informed, and B, unimpressed with his whole Trump is a foo-foo head. He finally comes down to Trump, he's it's about character. And it's like, dude, I'm from California. I've known about Kamala Harris's career since she was a district attorney. You do not want to start talking about whose life is more moral. I said, dude, you can say what you want about Trump. Both as flawed candidates, don't let me start talking about who she. Stop. And he couldn't let it go. He couldn't let it go. And the last part, I'll say this. He's a white man. He's married to a Colombian woman, and they adopted her Colombian son. And he was saying to me, oh, his son doesn't look like him, meaning I guess he's more brown, right? And my son was never called a racial name until Trump became president. I was like, okay, that may be true. I'm not even calling you a liar. I'm going to say this, that if your son, and that's unfortunate, somebody calls him sort of Hispanic or Latino slur, racial slur during the Trump administration. And I said to him, Jew hatred is at all-time highs, especially over the last few years. Our Jewish brothers and sisters are physically being assaulted on college campuses and in our streets. According to your logic, I told the guy, that's Kamala Harris's fault. Why? Because she's the one who's the vice president, Joe Biden the president, you want to call him that, while Jew hatred is off the chain. He just stood there and looked at me. It's like going, because I told him, I'm using your logic. Now, I've seen racism on the left and the right. I told him, as a matter of fact, more on the left. He kind of scoffed. It's like going, so you're standing here wasting my time. I'm raking my leaves. He doesn't, at some point, he goes, yeah, you're well informed. He said, I just think you're wrong on everything. It's amazing. You're well informed. You're educated. You know more about this stuff than I do, but I still think that you're wrong. Can you say white privilege? Can you say white racism? Can you say patronizing? Right? Again, don't listen. They don't listen. Right? Not they white. The left, they don't listen. Democrat. So again, he came for the Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan. He talked about he don't understand how these other groups are voting for Trump. And I'm sitting there going, Obama said the same thing, and he should be asking himself if Trump is as evil and as bad as you say, and Kamala Harris is as wonderful as you say, if the Republicans are so full of crap and you guys are so wonderful, then ask yourself, why are these different groups, these identity groups that you love to call out, why are they in record numbers breaking for the Republican Party? You have to ask yourself that question. Or breaking for Trump. The Republican Party is a mess too. But why are they breaking for Trump? So their conclusion is everybody's full of it. So, all right. So I'm going to have to stop there. I even wanted to show you this little video from Save a Child's Heart, but I'm afraid to do it because I'm afraid it's going to crash. You know what? Let's bite the bullet. I'm getting ready to pack up again. Those of you who stuck around, appreciate it. I've seen the video freeze and I couldn't share certain things. I couldn't share my girl Brandy's video and everything like that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to share one more from Save a Child's Heart, our Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel, for whom I serve as the founder and the CEO. We took our young people, our IPSI ambassadors to Israel in June of 2023. Man, it doesn't even seem like that long ago. And they put out these videos. We share some of the information. I want to see if I can share this one. And it's already looking like I clicked on it and we're going to have drama. Okay, so if you can hear me, and the screen is frozen, that's because I tried to share one more thing and it's not working. So I apologize, you guys. I really do. I don't know what's going on other than the fact that I'm not going to be able to do this live like this. So yeah, my apologies, everyone. I really do apologize. I'm gonna
regularly because of his sickness. So coming here and having surgery for him has been a very good thing, and I would